I'm going to go right out to the leader of our team, Mr. John Hoffman, because he and another amazing man have some great news for us. John.
Jane, how are you?
I am great. Can't wait to hear from you.
Yeah, great to be heard from. Great to see everybody. Great to see a couple of new faces, not new so much, but some folks I haven't seen a little bit. So, hey, housekeeping real quick. Get your pens on turbo. I'm going to go fairly quick so the call doesn't go real long or too long. A lot of fantastic things to share. Thank you first for your patience. The Q&A that we had tonight, I moved it because we just came out of the PWC Circle of Champion meeting with Warren and the executive team. And there's just too many just fantastic, really, announcements, comments, and, thoughts as we wrap up 2023 and go into 2024. I wanted to just share really what Warren shared with us and just kind of give you some insights from your Platinum team. So that's the first thing. So also make a note, our next call will be January 1st. We won't be having a call next Monday on Christmas. So early Merry Christmas to every one of you. I hope you guys have an amazing time with your families. What a joyous season this is. And whatever you might be celebrating, we celebrate it with you. Enjoy that time off. And, please take advantage of closing out, what can be one heck of a quarter, let alone one heck of a month. And get ready to just, prepare yourself for going into 2024. I guarantee you it'll be one of the finest years, in the history that I've been here, 25 years, maybe in the history of Legal Shield. So if you haven't registered a team for the team challenge for Jamaica, tonight's the last night. There's no excuse not to. Why would you not do it if you're going to be engaged in this company? Why would you not do it if you're an entrepreneur committed to building your Legal Shield business? You guys are invited. Cliff and I and Darcy and Tracy and others are sending out pics and communicating to you guys. We want you with us on these trips. I'm tired of looking around at other producers who are a Circle of Champion that are on these trips, and I'm looking at them and I'm going, well, wait a minute. I see the likes of just people I'm looking at right now, and Ann Palmer. I see the likes of the great Tony Petrill, and I mean many others before I scroll through this whole list and ask myself, well, why Jane Lehman? I go, why aren't you guys with me? Why aren't you guys celebrating Park City? Next year, why don't you guys celebrate Monaco, Portugal, Greece, or Italy? That's what the company is saying is on the list next year, for the PWC Circle of Champions event. And the heck with the event part, to be able to spend 5-6 days up close and personal with Nick and Gail Serba, with Cliff Malloy, with myself, with Kathy Pinson, with Warren Schlichting, with Amy Fleming, with Christy Hudson, with Steve Williamson. I mean, I can go, with the rest of the team that's there. I mean, it's just like we're sitting across from each other's dinner table, just being thankful for what we've got. Thank the Lord for the blessings we've been given, but more importantly, talking about our opportunities, talking about what we're doing today, what we're going to do tomorrow. So anyhow, you guys are invited, and we want you. I'm encouraging you, challenge yourself to be part of this group. Every one of you can be a Circle of Champion. All right. From there, let's shoot for Platinum World Council. All right. If you haven't registered for OKC, you can't ask your team to register. So, the speed of the leader, speed of the pack, please do so. All right. Let's just jump in. Okay. Millionaire Club members, six-figure ring earners, get your hands ready for anything that you want to edify, anything that you want to maybe kind of share or continue in the story. I know Cliff's traveling. He'll be joining here in just a little bit. So I'm
here, John, listening I'm here listening to your wisdom, sir.
All right, Cliff. Good, man. Good to have you, my friend. Even better, spending time snowmobiling and hanging out in Park City and up on the mountain in the snow and doing all the fun things we did. So glad you're here, my friend. Anyhow, let's just kind of kick off. Well, Warren opened up the meeting, and I got to tell you, It's his 1 year anniversary, and the insights and the change and the willingness to work to transition this company from, past leadership and past decisions, I think has been absolutely phenomenal. He's a guy who spends a lot of time listening. And who's he listening to? Well, he's listening to the field. He's listening to his company, and he's listening to his executive team for sure, but he's listening to the field. And he laid out 4 pillars, and I want to talk to you guys about it. It's similar to the kind of pillars we've talked about as an organization. And the first pillar he talked about is team being the most critical part of the other 3 pillars. You need to have a collaborative group. In other words, you've heard me talk about it for years. It's called culture. Culture is critical from a strategic perspective, because strategy and tactics can't even come into play. You can't execute on them. You can't even get into a good daily method of operation unless you've got a culture where there's a complete buy-in by everybody, not just the employees in Ada, Oklahoma, but that culture has to permeate out to those 1099 associates, people like you and I. And so he talked about that, and he even talked about how aggressive he was in putting an end to silos. And in Ada, Oklahoma, there were just a lot of silos. And this is primarily due to past administration, past leaders. This isn't to take away from those who kind of led the company in the past. They probably just didn't know better, and they maybe did the best with what they had, but it didn't do us well. Okay, because as you've heard, the past leadership thought we were a technology company. You and I always knew one thing: we were a relationship company. We are a people company. I'm going to get more into that in a few minutes. But Warren talked aggressively about the importance of culture, the importance of team. We have to want to win together. The company wants us to win as much as we want to win, and we want the company to win at the same time. The company has to be profitable. The company has to grow. How do they do that? By watching us be profitable, by watching us grow, by giving us the incentives, the tools, the bonuses, the products, and everything that we need to go out and really penetrate the market. So just really, really solid. What? Oh, sorry. So with that, we have a new head of provider services. I'll talk about that in a little bit. If you're taking notes, I think it's important you understand these things. We have a new head of marketing. We have a new chief technology officer, and we have a head, and I want to use the word chief. I don't have all their titles. I don't think it's a chief product officer, but a head of product development in Vanessa Davis. It's important that I share these things because these are things that we have not had in this company before. And it is absolutely critical that these department heads with their direct reports understand what it is that you and I do. One of the other things, and I'm looking at my friend Ann Palmer out there, she's one of our business solution specialists, and I can see some of the other solution specialists, and I can only go by what I see on the screen, so I'm not picking anybody out. I'm picking people out I see, so not people I don't see. So I see Teresa and I see a few others, but one of the things I'm excited about too, and just spending some time on the solution side, is we're putting an end to the Benjamin Franklin Society. That was a group, didn't serve anybody, period. It was just a bomb. Not taken away from the people who were on that by any means, but it didn't serve the company and it didn't serve the field. And Warren and team will be the first to admit it. And they are putting together a solutions advisory group, and I am excited about that. This is going to be more like a board that will act as a liaison to the executive team in Ada as well as the field. If you have an interest in being on that solutions board, solutions advisory group, I'd like you to email me. That group will probably change about every 5 to 6 months. I think it's good that that group changes because the company will use that group as a sounding board for the things that we need to see advanced on the solution side. I would encourage that group to communicate with me on a fairly aggressive manner because I've been really champion change on the solution side for the last 7 to 8 years, as most of you know. This will be a problem-solving group. And so there's a lot of great things that are happening on the solution side. Benjamin Franklin Society is out and the Solutions Advisory Group is in. And I would like to see a good number of the people on this team on that Solutions Advisory Group. And I will also tell you, if you're not bragging about it, brag about it. If you're not boasting about it, boast about it. But this organization, Shield Nation organization, has built the largest business solutions organization in Legal Shield. And don't get me wrong, I build the network. I'm a full service associate. But guess what? Solutions come through network. I'm a team builder, and I believe the way to penetrate the North American marketplace is by building teams. So if you like small business, I like you. If you like the gun owners plan, I like you. If you like group, I like you. In other words, my point is I can complement anybody from all walks of life because of this business model that we've been blessed to have. Number two on the pillar side, number one was team. Number two is to create a products team and to create products that customers love. Darcy and I, over the years, have talked to the company about increasing that premium base that we have available to us. One of the big differentiators in Legal Shield, unlike companies where Cliff and I were a part of, and maybe many others on this call, back to the TPN days, back to the NSA days, is we would have a monthly auto ship of $150, sometimes $200 a month. Well, in Legal Shield, when most of us started, we had I believe it was a $16.95 legal plan. That's all we had. We couldn't build a product portfolio that we could earn commissions on to get into the $100, $200, $300,000 a month. Now, some of you might be saying, well, geez, John, 100, 200, 300. When I talk about that, it's the same thing getting into, you know, for many of our directors, what would be $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month. Because if you can improve upon your monthly kind of your monthly member base, you know, today we're looking at a combo plan, I think, of about $29 to $32. If we can improve that to $60 to $70 by having products that our customers love, you're looking at doubling and tripling your commission base. And so we want to, and it's just exciting to hear Warren talk about it, tailor products to what the customers want. Doesn't matter what you and I want. We want to have a relationship that's so healthy with our customers that we want to tailor to what they want. And we want to have a feedback process, you know, that allows a fluid movement of ideas back and forth. Number three, improvement upon retention and customer success. I think Warren made a very important comment. If you're taking notes, I think this is something you should all be very proud of. Our NPS scores, which is the Net Promoter Scorecard, is the gold standard of how companies measure customer satisfaction. All right. Our NPS scores are double what other companies are, basically. In other words, we're double what most companies are in the United States, and we're the equivalent of the FedExes and the Apples of the world. But Warren has made a couple of comments. I think he's astute. I think he's, I know he's been listening to people like you and I, because if our NPS scores are so good, why then aren't customers referring us to their family, their friends, and the people they know? And I think that's just a good question to ask. The members that you have, are they referring people to you? Well, if you understand R3, the power of referrals to the power of three, if you understand that, and you're working the referral side, that's the difference between the big money earners and the average money earners. But he's saying that there's got to be more to this in how we manage and how we measure our deliverables. And he said, you know, our goal is to improve upon usage. Our goal is to improve upon activation. Our goal is to improve upon engagement. And our goal is to improve upon advocacy. And I'm going to share some numbers with you in a little bit. And then the last area, let me just see here. And the last area, number 4, is profitability and growth. Post-COVID and even before pre-COVID, you know, commissions were down. You know, business was down. Bonuses were down. It's not, you know, it's not something to be alarmed about. It's something that when it happens, business owners make change. When it happens, business owners adjust. One of my favorite individuals is a guy named Booker T. Washington. And if you haven't heard this quote, I would encourage you to read it. He says, "I have learned that success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he has overcome while trying to succeed." You can't expect to be an entrepreneur. You can't expect to be a business owner. You certainly can't expect to be financially free in the world of free enterprise without experiencing obstacles. And some of those obstacles have been put in front of us in the prior administration, and many of those obstacles are being removed and are out of the way today. So profitability and growth is critical, and we are going to see a complete improvement, not only upon our commission schedule, but also upon the bonuses and the incentives that the private equity has freed up, because the private equity has now agreed. Private equity now understands, when I say private equity, I'm talking about the ownership of Legal Shield. 3 private equity firms are the owners of Legal Shield, Stone Point being the majority shareholder, have all said, we apologize, we made a mistake. We bought into the technology side of the business, but we missed the point that Legal Shield is a people business. It is a relationship business. Bingo, huge, 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 huge in respect to each one of us. All right, little State of the Union from Steve Williamson. I spent some time with him. I think chief financial officers are critical to the success of a company, how they manage the money, what their fiscal responsibilities are they stewards, and do they see and adopt the principles that that really create the engine for a company, and that's how they pay the field. We have $45 million in the bank. Our cash flow is extremely positive, strong cash flow, and that has to do with the company being here for the last 50 plus years. He made a comment I had never really thought about it before, but Harlan and the team, if you think about it, spent $34 million to build the biggest building, the biggest high-rise in Ada, Oklahoma. They built a big company in a small town. And, I wouldn't do it. Maybe I didn't have the vision to think of it. You probably wouldn't do it. Even Steve Williamson said from a CFO's perspective, that was just stupid. You just don't build the biggest building in a small town, unless you want to prove to the world that you're going to be here 50 years from now, that you're going to be here 100 years from now. And I never really looked at it that way. And I even thought at the time, man, that's a lot of money to spend on a building for a company our size. And yet you can take a look at the vision that was behind it with, our old founder, Harlan Stonecipher. So it proves that we'll be here a long time. If you're taking notes, year over year, documentation beats conversation. Year over year, recruiting. November is up 84% year over year from last November. December, recruiting is up 123%. Production. November production is up 12% year over year. December, early in December, is up 20% year over year. Year over year, our number of producing associates is up 27%. And the greatest measurement tool that you and I can have, how every one of you should measure whether you're going to go to executive director and whether you're going to go to 6 figures a month or 6 figures a year, or even 6 figures every 6 months or 6 figures a month, is Performance Club qualification. The number of people that are PC qualifying on your team. We are up 13% year over year in PC qualifications. Okay. Again, documentation beats conversation, but one of the things you want to really focus on more than anything is consecutive month qualifiers. It's great that you hit it once. Celebrate, champion, and edify those that do, but work hard to see that they hit month number 2, month number 3, and month number 4. And watch what happens. Put some recognition, put some edification, and put really that champion spirit into those who not just qualify 1 month, but 2, 3, and 4. Focus on your 2-month qualifiers, recognize and reward, get them to 3, 4, and 5 months. Also, the percentage of production that's coming from the first 3 levels today is up 35%. So the percentage of production that's coming from the first 3 levels, and I'm talking about all of Legal Shield, is up 35% year over year. The bonus program is working. The bonus program is working very well. $426,000 was paid out in October. $426,000, folks. I hope a bunch of you are in that money. Okay. If you're not, you can be. And if you're not, you're invited to it. $523,000 in November. Okay. $65,000 to the senior director level. And here's the note you want to put. Think about this. All of this is in the fourth quarter, which is historically one of the softer quarters for most companies. All right. $1.4 million increase in residual on month 13. A lot of you called me when they moved and changed the commissions or the residual income and added that 10% into month 13. All right. A lot of you called, and rightfully so, when they said, that we'd only be paid back in the Jeff Bell days on, 20 years, when we were told that we own our business for the life of the customer, not the life of the job. Well, we got the company to change it back to the life of the customer, and we had a 1.4 million increase in residual because they, again, listened to us and they added better incentives to, or a better commission plan to our residual. So 1.4 million increase in residual on month 13, paid to the associates. All right. Let's just see. One of the other things they're introducing, and I'd like to get your guys' feedback on this, is they are introducing and have started a pre-cancel email. They're sending an email out to all of our pre-cancels to try to improve upon a better customer experience. 1,000 new members have been saved each month up to this point. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's times, let me just say me. I got frustrated with the company today. I got a call from one of our associates because last Friday, someone at the company said they would put together a call for one of our clients at 1 today, very important client, and then they dropped the ball and didn't put the call together. I got on the phone with the company. I was very frustrated and said, I want to talk to the supervisor and I want to execute on a call that you said you would do for a customer that has 250 employees that want ID Shield today. Either you get it together or it goes to a competitor. Well, John, we don't have that number for you. I said, you got to be kidding me. How do you not have a number for a Platinum World Council member with one of your supervisor leaders who represents the Ruby line? Anyhow, boom, 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 boom. They did their best. They got it worked out and said, we made a mistake. We apologize. My point is, I get frustrated, like many times maybe you get frustrated. My frustrations never turn unprofessional. My frustrations never turn personal. I always default back to the business that we want to do, that we need to do. Get me the support and help I need so that we can make the decisions to get the business that you need and that we want. So when we're seeing 1,000 new members saved each month, some of those members are your members. Some of those members are my members. The point being is that the company is improving and the company is working very hard to improve upon their deliverables, not just to you and I, but to our members who are our customers. The people in Ada are realizing that Teresa Johnson, that Alan Leake, that Ann Palmer, that Jim Carroll, that Jane Lehman are also Legal Shield's customers. Unlike the past, they want to improve upon all deliverables, and they're continuing to improve that quality, not just to the customers, but also to the associates. So even though there's times where we get frustrated, let's remember that there's also a time, especially during this season, to reach out. Let the people you know at the corporate office, the people that you work with, let them know that you're thankful for them. Wish them a Merry Christmas, wish them a prosperous holiday, and let them know how much you appreciate the energy and effort that they put toward each one of us. I'd appreciate it, they'd appreciate it, and I know that you'd be very happy to do that too. let's just see here. By the way, all of this is a very positive sign to the provider law firms, the associates, and the company when I talk about these numbers. So this just isn't a win-win in one area. Okay, I've talked about moving from a technology company to a people company, relationship business. This is big for associates. By the way, I'm going to get to it in just a second. When I talk about moving from a tech company, you know how frustrated we got hearing that in the last 7 years? Ask yourself a question. How frustrated did the provider law firms get when they heard that? All right. The people that are most excited today when we talk about relationships in the people business are not just you and I, but they're also the people in ADA, and they're also the people in the provider law firms. And I'll share a story with you in a minute. One of the providers made this comment. When it comes to that WOW service, when it comes to deliverables, they're working to improve with all provider law firms a question that the attorneys could say to a new member. So maybe I'm the provider attorney. Teresa Johnson called in and had a question, and I can say, Teresa, let me tell you what the law says I can do for you. Teresa, let me tell you what the law says I can do for you. We need to shift to find out what the customer wants and what the provider wants and what the provider can deliver. One of the things that we need to do, folks, is a better job educating our members and say, look, the law isn't always logical, but it is legal. If Jim Carroll has a legal issue, he's probably going to be a little emotional. If the attorneys can help Jim to understand they're there to help, but they can only do what the law says they can do, then Jim might be a little more empathetic to understanding when they can help and sometimes when they can't help. And so the attorneys are realizing these things, the attorneys are talking about these things, and the attorneys are working to better understand how to service, our people. And I can use this from experience. I don't need to pick on Jim Carroll. I can use John Hoffman. I know that when I've had some legal issues, I've been emotional and I don't care. I want help. Well, if the law isn't on my side and I'm emotional and I'm thinking it's logical, it's not the attorney's fault. They can't help me. Okay. And we just have to do a better job helping them kind of understand those things. Darcy and I just had an issue with her father. We had to go through the Tennessee provider law firm. That Tennessee provider law firm semi-dropped the ball. They didn't drop the ball. They referred us to a referral attorney because it's an Illinois issue with her father. And even talking to Kathy Pinson, I'm going to share some notes here in a minute. Kathy says, we're changing all that. You should have never been sent to a referral firm. You should have been sent straight to the provider law firm in Illinois. La-di-da-di-da. Yeah, I can see Jane clapping, Teresa shaking her head. Jim, yeah, we get it, guys. We get it. And they get it, And anyhow, Frank Marcioni, one of the partners up there in the Illinois law firm, called Darcy back and ended up talking with Darcy for probably 45 minutes. And not only brought tremendous legal acumen to the needs she had regarding her father. But in that conversation, Frank's like, yeah, gosh, man, it's so nice to talk to you. I played golf with your husband out at the Nikki Stone site from Memorial. And, and they just started talking about what the provider law firms are seeing. Or Darcy said, hey, what do you think of Warren Schlichting? And he's like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest breath of fresh air we could have. And Frank says the greatest thing is that we're moving back to the relationship business. We've always been about people. We've always been about relationships. And Darcy says, so you didn't like the idea that we're, being called a technology company? He goes, no, we're not a technology company. And the provider law firms and all the people I work with, they couldn't stand it. We're a people business. We're getting back to the people business. We're a relationship business. We love where we're going. We love Warren. And he's just so excited, This just, I hope it makes you sleep better. It makes me sleep better, to know that, back to the old days. Remember when we said one band, one sound? That's where we're at. We're getting back to one band, one sound. Not that more doesn't have to be done. We're going to do a better job with Vanessa Davis, our Director of Product Development. Vanessa made a very important point. it's time we listen to our providers. Think about this. Our providers know what customers need. They know what they have. Providers can tell us a lot. That's good insight from Vanessa. Not only can the associates tell her a lot, but the providers can tell the company a lot about the things they need, the things they have to work with, and how they can work better with the customers if the company provides the resources they're asking for. Okay. You might want to take a note of this. We are also just hired the VP of Lawyer Services. He is a new hire. His name is Brian Caron, C-A-R-O-N. Here's what I like about Brian. I talked to Kathy personally about this for about 20 minutes. She had a list this long of attorneys they were vetting, tremendously talented attorneys that they were vetting, for our lawyer services. And the reason that Brian Caron kind of won hands down was he was an attorney out of Ohio. So he was one of our provider attorneys in Ohio. He understood the value of NPS. He understood the value of our customers. He understood the value of associates. He understood how hard we work to bring those members to the company. And he understood the importance of relating and building relationships and building bridges to those who were calling in. So he has been excellent with customer service, and he now is our liaison to all the provider law firms and I believe VP of Lawyer Services. So just know that that's a hell of a win for each one of us. Okay. I'm not going to get into member resolution. Let's just see. With that, let me just kind of step back for a second and let my dear friend, Platinum World Council member, millionaire, $1 million a year ring earner, Mr. Cliff Molloy, shed any thoughts or share anything that maybe I missed or he'd like to edify from that Platinum World Council meeting that we had in Park City. So Cliff, any insights or thoughts from you, my friend?
Hey, John, first of all, I want to say thank you to you personally, John, and we all should be grateful. First of all, I just want to let my team know we have a lot of team members here that we invited to the Zoom. This is John Hoffman, ladies and gentlemen, in the Marathon family. John Hoffman is my mentor in the business and my upline support in Legal Shield. Some of you might be seeing him for the first time. I had some text messages saying, I don't know what you're inviting me to, but if you're saying I should be there, I'll be there. So I just wanted to do that. And I wanted to thank you, John, for, you being who you are and bringing this information to us, because I didn't take any of those notes. I'm like, okay, that's good. That's pretty good stuff. Where was I during this meeting? And I was in the same meeting, but I kind of, I guess I just glossed over until all the boring stuff was done and got to the money. When they talked about the money, and my question was, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? What are you going to do? And that's where my focus was. And I'll let you all know. I'll let you all know that our future looks really good. For those that set long-term goals, 5 and 10 years, all you need to know is we're going to be here. As Mr. John Hoffman talked about in his analogy with building this big building in this small town, we built it on a solid foundation. I mean, I'm saying that figuratively, but I mean that literally too. Harlan made a big deal about that. Remember, John, about how they dug the pilings down, and this is a foundation for a building that will last 100 years, and that's really a good thing. So for those of you that set long-term goals, 5 years and 10 years and 20 years, we're going to still be here to pay you. We're going to pay your heirs for the work that you put out, and that's pretty exciting stuff. Now, for those of you that are really in it this month, and next year doesn't even exist yet, January doesn't exist yet, we have an incredible opportunity to take full advantage of. And many of you know that I'm more focused on the network side, and I do have business solutions associates on the team and support them just the same. And I know a little bit about the business solutions side. When I need to focus in that area, I'll defer to someone on that side, like a Fred DaCosta, John Hoffman, even Kimberly Harden. But on the for those of you that are building a network organization and or the team builder side, as some people refer to it, the opportunities that we have right now are huge. You can literally create a full-time income with this business on a part-time basis. You can literally create a full-time income on a part or spare time basis with the incentives that are available. And many of them are going to, well, one of the major incentives are going to expire this month, and that's the Manager Mania program, right? So I'm saying all this because, we have less than 2 weeks to take full advantage of that promotion, where if you recruit and sponsor folks and help at least 3 people become a manager between October 1st and December 31st, you'll earn a $1,500 bonus, and there's no limits on that. So you help 6 people, you'll get 3,000, so forth and so on. But I think the bigger money right now, and this is now a part of the compensation plan. It is not as it was laid out for us on October 3rd at the meeting in Dallas. It's not an incentive. The compensation plan with the Fast Start bonuses. Now, this is a big deal, right? For those that are focused on building an organization. I mean, this is your profession. This is your career, even if you're part-time or spare time, which is the beauty of the network side of the business. This could be done to leverage yourself out of a job that you might not be excited about, right? And really generate a serious income, create leverage, and have an income coming in without you having to go to work every day and work hard at all. And what's exciting with the Fast Start bonuses, I know when I got started and John and I got started, the Fast Start program was in place. It was different totally, right, John, than it is today. But the Fast Start program allowed me to earn over $40,000 in my first year, just in Fast Start bonuses. So I those of you that know, I earned $92,000 my first year in the business, and 40,000 of that, almost 45,000 of that, actually was 42,000, somewhere around there, was just from the Fast Start bonus program, getting people started, helping them Fast Start qualify. And you want to take on a mindset, and you want to take on a business posture that will duplicate this. The business posture you take and hold on to consistently will automatically be adopted by your team. Now, it's not going to happen right away. It's not going to happen in a week, may not even happen in a month, but over 90 days, if you maintain that posture on every communication with your team, every conference call that you have, every interaction with your team, you're saying the same things. Like one of the things we're saying constantly is out the door in 24, out the gate in 48. Where are we going? We're going out to the bank. And the goal is within 24 to 48 hours is to get our new people into activity, and with the goal of being Fast Start qualified, the first activity being the private Zoom, so that we can get access to their network, right? Network marketing, you understand, you get it. So I say all of that to say that by doing that, and duplicating a simple process to do that, we can take advantage of these Fast Start bonuses, and you can really start generating serious income. And there's no chargebacks to the Fast Start bonuses. Wink, wink, right? There's no chargebacks to the Fast Start bonuses. They pay within 3 to 5 days now. Remember, there was a time, John, right? And some of you know that, there was a 30-day review for Fast Start bonuses. I'm like, how can you build a business fast and success loves speed? But there was no speed happening with the compensation. And, so if somebody, advanced to manager and they weren't getting paid for 30 days, that doesn't, create momentum and excitement and energy. And if one membership dropped in that 30 days, then now your manager bonus may not even be paid out. Remember those days? We called that the dark ages in Legal Shield a couple years ago. But the fact, well, at least I did. Anyway, I kept it to myself, but I called it the dark ages. But now we get paid relatively quickly when people Fast Start qualified. They get paid, we get it matching bonuses. And of course, the upline senior director and executive director and platinum executive director gets bonuses as well. So that gives you a line of experienced leadership that has skin in the game to help everyone succeed. And that's why it's imperative for us to put these systems in place this year, 2023. Now, I say all of that just to say, and I'll close my segment here because there's some other folks we may want to hear from. But I'm real focused on closing out this year. And so we have whatever number of days are left in the month, right? 12 days, 13 days left in the month. And that's it, right? And that's the only focus. 2024 doesn't exist yet, right? Yeah, it's fun and it feels good to make plans for 2024, but this is the challenge with making plans right now, with this much time left in this month for the new year, is that sometimes, and a lot of times, people who are really starting to plan hard for 2024 and they're going to do this in 2024, watch my smoke and all of these things, then they kind of trick themselves and they literally don't go to work until 2024 and they lose the opportunity over these next 12 days. The magic and the success of the first quarter of the year happens because of the success we created in the last few weeks, the last few days of the year. I promise you, the people who drive with momentum, energy, excitement, and a sense of urgency, which is two words John Hoffman always used, right? Working from a position of strength and having a sense of urgency. If John Hoffman drilled that into my head for 27 years, and the fact is that we drive that these last few days of the month. Those people who do that, who really go all out every day, right? All right, Christmas Eve and Christmas, all right? We'll give you those 2 days, all right? So, you know, that Christmas is one day and give you Christmas Eve, all right? So I say a day and a half. Before that and after that, we got work to do. I just did that was my Kimberly Dixon. There you go, Kimberly. I just did the Kimberly Dixon right there. But the fact is, we engage and we start focusing on 2024 on January 1st. But the folks who engage right now, they're going to go into the new year with a different set of confidence. They're going to go into it with a different attitude, momentum, excitement, energy. And you think you're going to basically start the first of the year resting. No, you're not. I'm telling you, you're not because you shouldn't, but because you're not going to want to. You're going to want to keep moving that momentum and driving that excitement and energy into whatever kickoff event is happening in the marketplace. For those of you with large teams, you'll be building into every kickoff where you have a footprint of your organization in those particular markets. You'll be building to all of these kickoff events to basically help kick off the momentum in 2024. And you know what's exciting about 2024? The bonuses that the company has in place, these build bigger bonuses, they're going to start to be paid out in January. You're going to see there's going to be a communication show on January 2nd. So the show won't be on January 1st this year. It's going to be on January 2nd, which I believe is Tuesday. I think. And so that's when the show is going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, January 2nd. They're going to make some announcements. One of the announcements that's going to be made on that show is what Mr. Hoffman was talking about, is qualifying for Circle of Champions and having an opportunity to be a part of the Circle of Champions. And I got to tell you, every single associate in this organization, and I will even say this, even if you're a new associate and a team builder, for the most part, you know, then by the way, Business Solutions will be Business Solutions associates will also be welcomed into the Circle of Champions with their own level of qualifications that do not necessarily require you building a team and having X number of Performance Club qualifiers. Isn't that exciting? So that's pretty hot, right, John?
Yes, sir.
And yes, indeed. But everyone will have an opportunity. Look, there's an expectation of work and effort in everything. If you treat this business and take it seriously as the business that it is, you're going to put work and effort in. If you started your own business and had to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars and whatever fees to start a business, you would take that seriously, get up every day, work hard all day, and come home late just to get up the next morning, open the doors, and go to work again. If you put that same energy, attitude, mindset, attention, focus, and persistence and consistency into this business, it'll turn greater results than any business that you can think about owning, because you have the ability to leverage yourself in a simple and easy way. Let's go out here and kill this thing. Let's crush this thing. And guess what? It's going to happen with you or without you. So let's tighten up our attitude. Let's focus on the opportunity. A lot of good things are happening. You heard Mr. John Hoffman share all of those good things. It may not be the most exciting thing in the world, but the way it is. But the fact is, we've got to be blessed that we have someone that thinks about the business of the business. And that's what John Hoffman is bringing to us, the business of the business. You got to work it like a business, think about it like a business. And yeah, a lot of times I'm a promoter, and I'm promoting the next thing and the next opportunity, and let's make some money and all this other stuff like that. But this, when it comes down to it, this is a business. And if you treat it like a business, well, for some of you, you need to treat it like a job, because you don't know what treating it like a business is, because you never had one. You had a job, you have a job, you take that job seriously. When you're sick, you still go to work, you get to your job, whatever way you got to do it. Treat this business like your job, but it'll pay you like the business it should. I'm jacked out of my mind. I wish you all a phenomenal holiday, at least that one day of Christmas, maybe Christmas Eve. I'll give you that too. So happy holiday, right? So, but let's get back to work and close out the year. God bless, family.
Hey,
John, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah. Whoever has a question or comment, prepare to raise your hand, or just go ahead and raise your hand. To me, what's great about Cliff's comments is we see things that are a little bit, we see the same thing, but we see things differently sometimes, you know. And what's probably the most exciting aspect for me is what happened in Park City, because I'm a firm believer from the standpoint that if you get the culture right, and if you get the team right, the strategies and tactics are what we can execute on, which means the results will follow. You know, culture and team we have not had in the last 5 years. I'm not talking about Shield Nation. I'm not talking about Marathon. I'm not talking about us. You know, we've always been tight. Cliff and I have always been tight, but we have fought obstacles with our businesses and on behalf of our team. You know, I'll also tell you this, Cliff, you made an important point. If I'm the coach of a team, if you're the coach of a team and you have a game this Friday, you're not thinking about the tournament at the first of the year. You're playing and preparing your team for the game this Friday, because the tournament at the first of the year is irrelevant if you don't have momentum and culture and team going into it. Okay. I believe, and I know for a fact after 30 years in this business, I will personally Performance Club qualify Christmas Eve. I'll personally Performance Club qualify again Christmas Day. I'll Performance Club qualify this week, because we have a party Tuesday night, we have a party Thursday night, we have a party Friday night. I might not be writing memberships or directing people to sign up that night, but I'm telling you what, my pipeline's full. My seeds are getting planted. You know, it's professional, it's fun, it's with a smile. I'm not interrupting somebody having a glass of wine, doing a shot of tequila, having a little champagne, you know, whatever it is. But I'm getting the seeds planted, because guess what? 70% of the U.S. people, the people in the U.S. are living paycheck to paycheck. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's just see.
That's a good point you make with the Hello Challenge that the company has right now, right? So, you know, priming your warm market right now with just reaching out to folks and saying hi, you know, hey, how you doing? We haven't talked that much this year, and I'm hoping that we can open up some dialogue at the beginning of the new year. Oh, absolutely. I'd love that. Boom, prime the pump. Just reach out and say hi. They call it the Hello Challenge. So congratulations, Jackie Berman. Congratulations. You had 250. And I know there's other folks here that have done the same and been recognized in the Legal Shield or PPLSI success page for engaging in and having success with the Hello Challenge. So, Mr. Hoffman, good point.
Yeah, and Cliff, what was exciting too is you and I are having dinner with Liz LeCue. She's been a friend of ours for a long time, and Liz is qualifying for 45,000 in bonuses. You know why? She decided to reach into her organization and take inventory with a manager leg and said, "Hey, we're making a platinum run. Do you see that you'd like to make the executive director run?" That person said yes, started doing luncheons, qualified executive director, and they are now building their platinum leg, which will qualify them for $45,000 in bonuses. Hello, hello, hello.
Yes.
So with that, right, good stuff. I mean, here's my man Cliff. He finished the year with $1 million in real money. Good stuff, Cliff.
Well, I appreciate that, but you're right, John. This build bigger bonuses that we have in place right now, they started in October. So this first 3 months, and I was leading to that. I forgot to mention it. That started in October, and now there are folks who are 3 months in, like Brian Eder is on the call with us today. Brian Eder qualified executive director in October. He qualified again in November, and when he qualifies in this month, he will earn a build bigger bonus for being an executive director, but he'll also get it he got it for hitting director, for senior director and executive director. And now he's working on some legs in his organization to go executive director, and he'll be bronze. But every 3 months you can grow to new levels, and those bonuses will all be paid out in January. So I'm saying there's going to be millions of dollars in bonuses paid out by Legal Shield for people like Liz LeCue, who was platinum for 3 months, just the last 3 months. And you know what's really phenomenal? These bonuses continue all the way through 2024 to December 31st of 2024. So when you see so much money being paid out in these bonuses, you'll know it's real. And that'll give us an opportunity. And that's one of the reasons, if you don't mind me plugging this, John, Elizabeth Gardner and I are going to be touring the United States this year in a Dream Bigger $1 Million Ring Earner tour. And the purpose of one of the purposes of the tour is just to help everyone understand that, this company is real. They're paying out real money, and they're really paying it out. This company's real. They're paying out real money, and they're really paying it out. Right? We're proof of that. And we all should have the belief through the people who are earning the big Dream Bigger bonuses that we can get it too. And bottom line is, let's get this money. Thank you, John.
Yeah. And
we have Calvin Stewart on.
Yeah, we'll get Calvin. Calvin, we're coming to you. And just so everybody know, please tie in more aggressively to Shield Nation website. We will be promoting, Cliff and Elizabeth's tour. We will be promoting my tour. We'll be promoting all the events, that are coming up first of the year. Leverage it hard. Calvin Stewart, real quick, come out to you, my friend. Come off. There you go.
Yes, sir. Mr. Hoffman, Mr. Malloy, thank you so much for allowing me to come on. I just want
are you in witness protection, man?
Oh, well, actually, I got on late, so I wanted to be here. I'd rather be here than to show up, on film. But I just wanted to say that you guys are really informative and inspirational. I really appreciate the information we've gotten tonight. I just wanted to say, for what you said, Mr. Malloy, about those two things. You said treating the business like a job. Now, I've always heard treat the business like a business. It'll pay you like a business. Treat it like a hobby. It'll, you'll pay it. But when you said treat it like a job, I can deal with that. I never was a businessman before, so I know how to do a job. So that you spoke to me when you said that, and I really appreciate that. And it will make a difference in my performance from this point on. You also said out the door in 24, out the gate in 48. And to the bank. Now, how is that said in the bank part? I missed that.
Well, we said out the door in 24, out the gate in 48. As a matter of fact, I'll have Fred DaCosta. I almost said Fred Hoffman. That's pretty funny. We'll have Fred DaCosta in a few minutes share what he's doing with that. But, we've been saying this for a couple of years now. And it simply it's just when you get a new associate on board, you want to get them out the door in 24, out the gate in 48. With activity. You want to get them into immediate activity. They don't need to learn everything about Legal Shield, and don't drive all this stuff. They don't even need to attend a Fast Start training class in their first 48 hours. They need to get to activity, business building activity. We need to meet their people. We need, back in the day, John Hoffman used to say, and also Mr. Hamilton used to say, we want to know the color of the carpet in their home. You know what I mean? Within 24 to 48 hours. We want to build a relationship. We want to meet the people that they know. They don't know how to say it. We know how to say it. So we want to, have them introduce us to their contacts so that we can create and open the door to new opportunities within the first 24 to 48 hours. So
Absolutely.
I say out the door in 24, out the gate in 48. And I've had people ask me, where are we going out to? The bank.
That to the bank, absolutely. And Mr. Hoffman, you said about team culture, you said we got rid of silos. What is a silo?
A silo is where you have little individual groups doing their own thing outside of anything that is like a team management style or team directive. So
Gotcha.
you might be the leader, and let me take it from a coach perspective. You've got the quarterback and running backs doing one thing. You've got your linemen doing something different. You've got your receivers doing something different. Nobody's on the same page. That's what a silo is.
Gotcha. Okay, then. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm out.
Thanks, Calvin. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.
Fred
Anybody else?
DeCosta, you want to share that, sir?
Fred DeCosta.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thanks, Mr. Hoffman. Thanks, Mr. Malloy. And I just first want to say thank you to Mr. Hoffman. Thank you to Mr. Malloy. Always advocating, always looking out for us, always showing us how to make more money and build our business and to get into the Platinum World Council Millionaire Club member status. Thank you so much. And thank you. I'm an urchin, so I love that information, Mr. Hoffman, from Steve Williamson, hearing about the new appointees. What that tells me is that we should dig our heels in now, that this company is here for another 50 years and that the company is not just producing, it's growing, and we should be growing with it. I know, Mr. Malloy and Mr. Hoffman, that this year we opened the most groups, we wrote the most memberships, and we recruit the most people than we ever have as a team, and it's just growing. And the company is helping us with the advocacy of our leaders like Mr. Malloy and Mr. Hoffman, and the leadership of our Warren Schlichting and Don Thompson. We have all these bonuses that are helping us grow. I know also that years ago when we started as an executive director, we're making 3 times more income now as an executive director than I ever have in the company. And some of it, like Mr. Malloy said, just in bonuses. The 24 out the door, 48 out the gate that we were just talking about, when years ago, we couldn't even be on a Zoom like this. I would never get to meet the entire, like, this is not the entire, I mean, there's tens of thousands, but yeah, almost 100 Shield Nation team members and Marathon team members on a Zoom like this. We couldn't do this 15 years ago. So it took 20 days to fast start qualify. There is no reason to take 20 days. Now we can meet the network within the same day. So 24 out the door, there is no reason to take 20 days. If somebody jumps on now, we want to find out how much they want to make and get to their network that day. How much do you want to make? Let's game plan. Let's do a private Zoom today or tomorrow. That's the choice. Today or tomorrow. 24 out the door, 48 out the gate. And I even incentivize them. If we can do this Zoom and we get our 3-in-1 within that 48 hours, we'll do whatever. You know, we'll have an incentive. It's the holidays. There'll be a gift card. Whatever incentive you wanna offer. But within the first 24 to 48 hours, we're doing a launch sequence. So the first 24 hours we do a Zoom, and then we do another one in the next 24 hours. That's the 48 hours, and we're pumping out new Fast Start qualified associates. The next step is for them to pump out 2 to 3 new Fast Start qualified associates. So now we can pump out managers, and just do that every 24 hours, every 48 hours, and we promote that in the team. And like Mr. Malloy said, we work it like a job and treat it like a business. I worked at the phone company 40 to 60 hours a week. I had to work. They made me show up from 8 in the morning till I couldn't work anymore. Now I'm gonna do that for myself. Work it like a job and treat it like a business with all the professionalism and the position of strength of a multi-billion-dollar business. So thanks for having me on, Mr. Malloy. Thanks for having me on, Mr. Hoffman.
Happy birthday, Mr. DeCosta.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, little Christmas baby. Happy birthday, Fred. You get my vote hosting our next Shield Nation call, my friend. So good stuff.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna add we'll wrap it up here, but I'm gonna add Cliff and Fred for a second. You guys have heard me say it before, but if I don't discipline myself in my business, someone's gonna discipline me in their business. Kind of interesting if you think about it. The mystery of the mind is, why will somebody work harder for someone else than they will themselves? I'm astounded by that, you know? So I'm going to discipline myself in my company and not get disciplined in somebody else's company. So, hey, God bless you guys. Happiest of holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Enjoy the time with family. What a blessing it is. What a blessing we all have. Darcy and I are thankful for each one of you. You are our family. We have been blessed to know you from anywhere from the last 25, 26, 27, 30 years. If it's Cliff and I going back 30 years to many of you, and just maybe the last 4, 5, 6, 7 months. But your family, your team, we're thankful daily for you. We pray for you, and love you guys. Everybody have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you all the first of the year if I don't talk to you before.
Thank
See
you,
y'all.
John.
All
Everybody.
right, Merry Christmas.
Amen.
Thank you.
Golden
God bless Shield
distance.
Nation.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Merry
God
Christmas.
bless everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Everybody.
Christmas. New Year.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy
Take care,
holiday.
everybody. Thank you.
Be well in the new year, everyone.
It's
Bye-bye.
the most wonderful time.
Thank you, Tony.
Good night.
Good night.